Alright, Archero 2, the 4-player co-op has already started in the testing phase of it, and as you can see here, I am on the test server. Now, in order to play this, it's actually separate from the regular game you're playing. It's a test one, so it's kind of like a dev build, so that's why you see everybody's name listed as player numbers. And all we could really do is go into this, go and play the intro there, the first chapter back out, and it would immediately take you into this co-op mode. To be completely honest with you, when I first saw this and even going into it, I thought it was going to be pretty dumb, especially with the whole Guild Wars thing of that just being an automatic. I didn't really have high hopes for this, but then I started playing it, and next thing you know, I played this like 20 times, maybe even 30 times, just trying to grind this over and over. It is pretty difficult. I mean, given that we all are just straight out of the box, brand new characters, no gear, anything like that, not really certain how it's going to go and play out in the future once this releases next week here, but so far this thing's actually a pretty big hit. So one of the things you'll see there on the screen, similar to the Shackled Jungle, we are going to have a skill that'll pop up. This one's 30 seconds. Just kind of like the Shackled Jungle there, a whole bunch of, vials come out, we get some invincibility, I think we get some other things in there too, not certain, but it's a boost when you get that. One of the ones that was a little tricky though is there's one that'll give you like 200% your attack speed, 300% attack damage, but it goes and takes half your health away. And you figure, okay, well, I'm just gonna get knocked down half the health, and then once I go and come out of this 5 seconds, I'll just be back at full health again. And that's not the case. So every single time you go and you use this, you're just kind of depleting yourself more and more till a pretty much close to death. Now, after playing this so many times, there is going to be 3 different levels in here. There's like a normal, a hard, and then a nightmare mode. I made it to the middle one, played it once, but even this first one here was pretty tricky. And one of the things is having 3 other players kind of simultaneously playing with you, it is heavily favored over boosting yourself on attack power. So if you think like, oh, I'll be the one just to kind of tank it all, get a lot of health, you pretty much do no damage at all, and you'll time out on the bosses. So everybody's kind of trying to go and do just as much damage as they can. If one person goes and grabs that deal with the devil, everybody will go and get that deal with the devil after killing a boss. And if all 4 of you get it, well, you're going to technically get 4 devils after the boss. And that's what we're seeing a lot inside there. And it ends up being where you're sitting at like 72 health, 1 shot, you're dead. But luckily for us, you can go and be revived. It's kind of similar to the other Habby games there, where you go and pretty much just have to stand on the person until that revive meter fills up and you can bring them back in. Now the first crab boss there, that was kind of a pain in the neck. It is going to go and blast at you 3 times. And then there's even kind of a move in there where it's going to go and blast the whole screen. You have to look for the little bubble to hide underneath. In the hard mode for that, the lasers that it shoots out will actually rotate at you, so that's a little bit trickier, and those blast outs will be like 2 or 3 times in a row. There is some points where the mobs tend to be a little bit overwhelming, but it's not really a big deal because somebody could just go over and revive you again. The big one's going to be the final boss. We have boss number 1 at 2 minutes, boss number 2 at 4 minutes, and the final boss is a dragon. And what you find is because you can only attack in that circle you see around, that's our range right there. It's not like the regular chapters where we have the whole board, but that's your range. So you tend to get close to the dragon, you get dropped by it, and then nobody can really get over to you to revive. I mean, sometimes they get a little bit lucky on it. I haven't made it all the way through, or I mean, I've beaten it, but that's only because I died in the last couple of, say, 20, 30 seconds, and our teammate carried us and got us the win. At first, you're really kind of competing with your teammates when you first go in and play this. Those are all kind of the who's doing the most damage up in the top left. And then eventually you realize like, okay, I really don't care if I'm the number 1 doing the damage. It's more of you want to make sure you're keeping up. So if you know like, oh man, I'm getting way behind on points, I really need to make sure I'm going more for the attack ones than kind of the dodges and stuff like that. Stand strong, pretty freaking OP in this. Everybody's kind of going and getting that, but you always get a little cocky when you have stand strong because you're like, I'm just going to sit there for a while, kind of just camp out. I don't want to move because I don't want to lose that, spike of having that attack speed and everything else. So it can get a little bit tricky. There is another one of those skills where every minute somebody can hit the button on that and it heals everybody, I think like 25 or 50%. So that came in handy, but really that final boss is such a pain that people just start dropping pretty fast. There was one for like 5 seconds of shooting swords out, another one for meteors, another one for sprites. And this is the second boss right here. This one wasn't really too bad. You can see somebody just got targeted. It's going to be whoever's the closest to them will go and kind of have this red timer on them. Once it gets down to 5, like 2 seconds later, it's going to drop a bomb. You just got to kind of run away. You don't want to run towards your teammates, obvious. But this is just a matter of getting close, and you kind of see we're just dodging those couple of fireballs. It's really that, and then just him going and tagging the person with that meteor bomb there, and then dropping some mobs out there too. But this was probably, I'd say, maybe the easiest one out of the 3. Still, you can see we're pretty tanky. Some of them, we're actually doing pretty good right now for damage on it. Some of them, it's like, it gets down to the wire if you're not building correctly on this. So that's why we're gonna grab the attack up right there. And you can see a couple of devils on the screen. That's where things get risky, because it's like, man, I need to be strong to get through this. So you just start picking away, and the next thing you know, it's like, oh man, one shot's gonna take me down. As far as the mobs, there is those yellow bees. They come by like 2 or 3 times, and you can get hearts from things in here. You will get level up as going through on it. Not really sure. There's no meter or anything like that to say like, oh, here's your experience meter. And they do have some stats on the screen too, just kind of letting you know your latency on it. It seemed like for me, at least for this being in the test build, I needed to wait till all 3 of those numbers at top, the average, the 1% and 0.1%, all got to be like 59 and 60, and I had a pretty good luck of finding a game. There were a lot of people complaining at first about this is really glitchy and they're getting dropouts, they were connecting, they're already dead. I never had that problem. This thing was pretty much running smooth for me all the time, and I'm just connected to my house Wi-Fi, so that was kind of nice. But either way, this is something I think once this comes out, I think everybody's going to really love this thing. Not sponsored by all, and obviously I'm a content creator for the game, so that's how I did get access to this. And there was a little bit of a fiasco yesterday there with the whole fishing event going on with the Count Dwan or whatever it was, and people losing their things, and people like, you need to make a video about this right away. I'm not one really to make toxic thing on the channels. I used to do it all the time, and all it did was just make everybody in the community toxic, and it just kind of led me into a bad place, made me grumpy for other people being grumpy. So try to just stay things on the positive here. You probably won't hear me talk anything bad about the game or any games in general. Do I feel that way sometimes? Yeah, but you won't really be seeing it for me promoting it like, oh, we should all go and grab our spikes and torches and run this game down. Just not the style that I want this channel to have. Those little bomber guys though, those tend to be a pain. They're a pain no matter if it's co-op or regular chapter, but they always tend to get me too. They always seem to sneak up. And you can see I am reviving somebody in the middle. It does seem to take a long time on this, but here is the final boss right here. He's gonna have a couple of moves shooting out the little rocks. That's usually 1 shot, 1 kills. Those tornadoes, those are tracking at you. And then there'll be some big boulders too that come out. So that guy dropped down, and the amount of time it takes to revive him, it's like, oh man, I am not gonna get this. So I'm shielded right now. We got him, and you can see the little icon on the other side. You have to stand in that little blue bubble. Don't think like when you're watching people, like the circle looks a lot bigger, but when it's you, that is. But you can see, bam, I just tried to get him. We lost him. And right here, you see that little green thing down there? It's kind of like the boss was invincible. We have to go and destroy that. And that was a way of, you know, getting it where he's not invincible anymore. So this guy just is about to go and pop here. I think he did just pop. But you can see he pretty much just beat it for us. And then there's a screen at the end there just kind of showing everybody's score, who the MVP is, who you are. So overall, I actually really like this. I want to play it some more, but unfortunately, in order for me to go and play the regular game now, I got to go and delete this, reinstall the regular app, and go back in. So it's a lot of back and forth. Well, I guess let me know what you guys think. Does this look exciting to you? Does it look like fun? Is it something you're looking forward to? I guess let me know in the comments below. And I do have both the new runes. I'll make a video on that tomorrow. I've been kind of sidetracked with multiple games going on right now. But if you do want to know about Habby's new game and what that looks like, take a look at this video right here. Thanks for watching, and remember, I pick my butt.